How's everybody doing today? Welcome back to another episode of The Banker Next Door. I am your host, Dr. Joe Berquist. Today, I wanted to talk about something called pig butchering. This very interesting topic that came up, and this is part of my ongoing crypto series because this does relate to cryptocurrency. So if you're new to the channel, I've been doing kind of a whole series for probably about 7 or 8 months now on just all different aspects of crypto. And today, this pig butchering was a crypto scam that I came across this week that I thought was really, really fascinating. So I want to bring in an article here to show you guys real quick. So this is a blog from a gentleman named Brian Laverdure, who is a writer for ICBA. And the blog that he put up here is entitled Pig Butchering Crypto Scams, a Growing Concern. So I think the first question to address here in this article is, well, what is pig butchering? So this is a scheme, and I'm reading here from the thing. This is a scheme that earned its crude name because the scams resemble the practice of fattening a hog before slaughter. So scammers create fictitious personas, possibly employing deep fake images to establish contact with potential victims, i.e. the pigs, typically by text message, social media, or dating apps. And then over time, the scammers will foster seemingly authentic relationships with victims through frequent and friendly exchanges, i.e. fattening the pigs. After forming relationships, the scammers commonly weave cryptocurrency into their conversations. Often, scammers do not ask for money or cryptocurrency directly. Instead, they offer to guide the victims' investment strategies and instruct users to send money to various platforms which are developed or controlled by the scammer. This is when the butchering begins. So victims may initially respond by sending small amounts of a cryptocurrency or to a cryptocurrency exchange. To sustain the ruse, scammers will present false account information purportedly showing victims' investments are growing. Scammers may even allow victims to cash out a portion of their initial investment to maintain a semblance of authenticity. Scammers will continue to pressure victims to send money until they are bled dry. It is not uncommon for victims to try to cash out their investments only to be told that they must first pay exorbitant fees or taxes. But by this point, the scam has run its course, the money is gone, and scammers have moved on to their next victim. Tragically, there are countless stories of victims losing their entire life savings to these schemes. Now, the United Nations did an entire report on this, and inside that report, they basically found that there is a primary hub for this criminal activity and is based out of the Mekong region in Southeast Asia. There, an increasing number of casinos blend with ungoverned borders and armed groups engaged in a long-running civil conflict in Myanmar to create the ideal conditions for massive money laundering operations. More disturbingly, these operations rely on forced labor, with an estimated 220,000 people forced to execute these scams in Cambodia and Myanmar alone. Criminal groups frequently use social media to bait unwitting victims to travel to Southeast Asia with the false promise of new careers. Once they arrive, they are then taken hostage and compelled to run these pig butchering scams, often under the threat of physical violence. Like the pig butchering victims themselves, the families of people held captive by these gangs are often forced to pay ransoms in cryptocurrency to free their loved ones. So, and then ultimately, what is the impact of this pig butchering? So the estimated scale of this fraud exceeds many other major crimes, including business email compromise, which is also known as BEC. In fact, the FBI's 2023 Internet Crime Complaint Report revealed that investment scams claimed the most substantial losses out of all crimes traced by the agency. Last year, losses soared 38% to reach $4.57 billion, with crypto-related investment fraud accounting for almost 90% of that total. However, these figures only reflect the losses that have been reported. Obviously, the numbers here could be much, much higher. And then it goes on to say that indeed, researchers at the University of Texas said pig butchering scams have netted at least $75.3 billion since January of 2020. And they concede that their analysis could fall short of whatever the title is. So, but ultimately here, the impact is undeniable. Scammers are successfully seizing vast sums of money from numerous victims, and crypto serves as the primary conduit for these illicit gains. So, again, you have a lot of frauds out there in the world right now. A lot of things, in terms of like email scams. A lot of people know about phishing, smurfing. You got things called squishing. A lot of different techniques out there. You've got, a lot of what are called like social surfers, like people who will kind of look over your shoulder and see if they can catch it, putting in some sensitive information or see you doing stuff on sensitive websites, things like that. A lot of phishing scams, people trying to send you emails and see if they can get information out of you slowly. So this is a type of scam that's very interesting because it's almost like people are parading themselves as say, like, use like a company like Coinbase, right? Like, so they'll pose as an employee of Coinbase and say, hey, if you don't know anything about crypto, we could help you get started with your crypto investing. Just send the money over here, and you start sending in, and they only ask for small amounts up front, just small amounts. Hey, give us $100, give us a couple $100, whatever, and then it's and then once you get in there, and then they start emailing you basically fake account statements saying that, like, oh yeah, here's your investment, it's making money, everything's going great, yada yada yada. Keep sending the money in. I wouldn't even be surprised if they try to set you up on some kind of like an auto debit type system where they're just automatically debiting your account for a couple $100 every month, that kind of thing. And they just keep this thing going. And like they said, some are even so sophisticated that they will even give you a little money back if you just try to withdraw a little bit, just to try to make the authenticity of the scam look completely legit. But once they've accumulated X amount of dollars in the account, then they just siphon that money out and they're off to the next thing. And then when you show up saying, hey, what's going on? I'd like to withdraw my money, whatever. And then they say, oh, well, you're going to have to pay all these taxes, or you're going to have to pay all these fees to try to get the money out. And then by that point, it's too late. You realize it's a scam and the jig is up. And then you probably reach out to Coinbase, and they're probably like, say something to the effect of like, well, we have no idea what you're talking about. We don't have any account under your name. That account number that you have isn't real, so on and so forth. So, and what's interesting is, like, these type of scams are not new. It's just that the cryptocurrency is the new wrinkle to them. I mean, you could go all the way back to the initial Ponzi scheme with Charles Ponzi, where he's taking money in and he needs the new money to pay back the old investor, the original investors, but he's not paying them back. He's just maybe paying them a little bit of money or a little bit of stipends, basically just enough to kind of keep the image going, keep the con going. So these kind of scams are not interesting. It's just, it's interesting. What makes this a fascinating thing is the technology that's being deployed. Obviously, they're doing a lot of this through cryptocurrency because it's harder, not impossible, but it's much harder for people to track the money, to go through. And a lot of this stuff, again, is stemming out of countries in Asia, particularly Southeast Asia, where it could be very difficult for probably authorities in certain regards, particularly U.S. authorities, to get in there and really get a really strong determination of what's going on there. So, so I just say this one today. I saw this blog here, and I just thought it was really interesting, this whole concept of this pig butcher and crypto scam. So I hope that people, again, will just kind of keep their eye out for this. If you are investing in cryptocurrency, that's great, but just keep your eye out for a lot of the scams that are going on out there. There are a ton of scams in the crypto world. If you go back and look at some of the other parts that I did, I mean, one of the episodes in the crypto series was called Bitconned. It was a review of a documentary that was on Netflix, and how a whole bunch of people had gotten conned out of their money. I cover FTX and Terra and all whole other gamut of all the other actors and players and frauds and things that have taken course in the crypto world. So I hope everyone will go and check out some of those other crypto episodes if you haven't seen those. But with that being said, I will wrap it up. So I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. If so, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. That always helps the channel. Make sure to go and check out the bankernextdoor.com and make sure to check us out. We are up on YouTube, Getter, and all major podcast. I'm sorry, not Getter, Rumble. We're up on YouTube, Rumble, and all major podcast platforms. So please go and check us out and check out some of the other episodes that I'll be posting up this weekend as well. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you guys again real soon.